Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus.
Hey friends, welcome back to our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. Thank you guys for tuning in. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about The Matrix. So some background, its release date was March 31st of 1999. Its budget, it had a huge budget compared to the other movies we've done. It's $63 million. Opening weekend, it made 28. With inflation, that's $44 million. In the U.S., it grossed 171 million, which today is 207 million. And then worldwide, it grossed 466 million, which with inflation is 736 million. So pretty big budget and pretty big numbers from what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I think this movie was ahead of its time. And if it were to come out today, because like you look at the Avengers, those big franchises, Star Wars, just those big franchises like that. I mean, Matrix is a big franchise. And I think if it would have just came out 10, 15 years later, I think it would have been way better than it did back then.
Yeah, the actors and actresses of the film, they were required to be, like, not only required to read it, but they had to understand it and be able to explain it to the directors. The Matrix simulacra and simulation. So I guess that was the book. And for reading most of the principal cast and crew, Keanu stated that the Wachowskis had him read simulacra and simulation, out of control, and evolutionary psychology even before they opened up the script. And eventually he was able to explain all the philosophical nuances involved. But Carrie Ann Moss, who played Trinity, had a difficult time with this, or with the process, she commented. And I guess Switch, I didn't write this one down, but this one should have been a good one. The character Switch, I guess Belinda McClory auditioned for the role because she thought she was only going to have half the role, because the character was originally played to be androgynous. Oh. So in the real world, it would be played by a male actor, and in the Matrix, they would be represented by a female form. Yeah, but that's how the name Switch came to be. But Warner Brothers refined the idea, and McClory ended up getting a single female role in both environments. So that's kind of interesting.
That is cool, and that would have been a really cool concept to see, I think. I think, because especially, if they make the fourth one, that might be something they need to do.
Cypher.
All because he just wanted to go back to the Matrix.
He said, he wanted to be naive or ignorant. Ignorance is bliss, he said. Because he was the one that, they all commented when Neo had to make the jump the first time. And Cypher keeps saying, no one ever makes it the first time. And it's because Neo didn't believe in himself yet.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and he was already showing, before they did the jump, that's why Morpheus, I think, did it so quick, is because he was already showing skills that nobody else had shown. Because they said, we've never seen anybody this fast before.
Right. He still didn't have his belief yet. Or, you know what I mean? He still didn't think that he was, Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a lot to take in. I mean, he had a breakdown.
To go from being a hacker, Thomas Anderson, right? And I do think I think it's kind of cool how they make Agent Smith continue to call Neo Mr. Anderson. To the very end, I mean, even in the third movie that he does that, because he knows it makes Neo mad. And even in the first movie, or I think it was the train scene, I think, when he kills him on the train, or gets him run over by the train at first. And he says, my name is not Mr. Anderson, it is Neo. And that's finally him, accepting his role.
Neo is a anagram for one, N-O-N-E, N-E-O. And then Cypher actually means zero, because he's looking for Morpheus. That's what he's doing on the computer. He's got questions. He can't understand. I guess he can't comprehend the world he lives in. And so he's got questions. And then I guess that's Morpheus that's talking to him on the computer. And
see, I thought it was Trinity.
Well, it could be. Or it could just be both of them.
Because I think she's the one that tells him to wake up. And I think she's the one that does like the knock knock Neo, or knock knock, like when it's typed. I think that's her. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, it says follow the white rabbit. And she
Yes.
has the white rabbit on her shoulder tattooed.
Yes. Yep.
Well, when Morpheus told him he went to work the next day, he had overslept, and then they were kind of wanting to fire him, but they said if they did it again, he would be. And then he was going to his desk, and the agent showed up. So Morpheus had called him, like walked him through. Well, he got a phone in the mail, a cell phone, and he answers it. And Morpheus talks him through how to get out, and he gets to that window. And it's funny because he's terrified to jump onto that lift. And so, Morpheus, everything in these movies is you have a choice. So Neo had the choice to go and get on the top of the roof, or he had a choice to go with the agents. And because he was so scared of heights, his choice was to go with the agents. Like, shut his mouth, like they sealed his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't stand that.
That was an intense scene, and I don't know why, but just I think Keanu did a really good job of it. Because if your mouth is not, like, I always, like, you look back at these behind-the-scenes thing, and you're like, okay, this is what the actors, this is what you saw on screen, but this is what the actors were dealing with. And it's got, like, a guy in a green suit holding, like, a plastic wolf head or something. Like, I think I've seen that. I'm like, man, like, these actors, good for them that they can, you know what I mean? Like, get that fear out on screen when it's really, that's what they're really looking at.
Right. Well, and then, like, okay, I have a thing with my belly button.
I know. I was like, that thing crawling into him, I was like, mm-mm. And plus it was all creepy crawly and the legs, and I'm like, no way, Jose. And I know you have a very stringent thing with your belly button.
Yeah.
See, that's the way I am with my knees. Like, I can't do knees. Like, I just don't touch them. Don't touch me. I have a hard time watching, like, if I'm watching football and I see an injury to a knee, I'm done.
Or, like, my mom will tell people that I don't like my belly button being touched. And I hate that because it just gives people, like, oh, let me touch her belly button. And so I don't like people knowing. And I don't know, like, people go, that's weird. Like, why can't you have your belly button be touched? And I'm like, everybody has a spot on their body that they don't like touched. You can't tell me that Tony can't stand his feet. Like, if you even look at his feet, he goes nuts. Morpheus means God of dreams, which is
there's a lot of biblical references in this movie.
Yeah, which is ironic because he wakes people from their dream state.
Yes. Well, and then their ship is called the Nebuchadnezzar. Because of the old Babylonian king.
He saves Neo. Neo has the choice between the blue pill or the red pill. And the blue pill, is you wake up and none of it ever happened. Like, Neo just goes back living his normal life. He doesn't have to remember that he ever even talked to Morpheus. And it all just kind of be a dream and fade away. And then the red pill will take him down the rabbit hole even more.
Yeah, where he gets to have the Matrix explained to him. Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll get the truth, and he wakes up. But the red pill also is to trace his physical body. That's also what the red pill does. Like, the red pill's a bunch of stuff. Like, it traces the body, it puts it in a state where he can accept being woken up, and that's whenever he wakes up in that egg pod womb type thing.
Yeah, that was a weird scene for me too. I mean, it was just, and I guess when they did that, they had to test, they tested something. And I guess, I don't know why they would have done this, but they made it so cold that the tester got hypothermia in like 8 minutes. So they had to begin heating it. Like, they heated it for the, and like we talked about earlier, Keanu Reeves, see, to me, he's a method actor. Like, he goes into his roles, like, he does what he needs to make the roles work. Like, he prepared for this scene where he wakes up in the pod, but we talked about losing the weight. So he lost like 15 pounds and shaved everything, like his whole body, to give himself like an emaciated and like basically newborn look. At least that's how I took it. He was being born, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell that he did, because I feel like when he's not in the Matrix, you can tell that he shaved his head and then it's growing back. Like, you can see it. But then when he's in the Matrix, I feel like he's got the long hair. So I'm assuming that they filmed those scenes first or towards the beginning of the movie before he shaved his head, or
at the end. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, his hair did seem to grow pretty quickly, but I don't think it's going to grow that. I mean, I don't know.
Because we do get to see like the hair growing back throughout the movie.
Right.
It starts to grow back. The fields, the harvest fields of humans. We saw that during that scene too. You might not have known what it was if it was your first time watching it, you might not know what that was at first, right away. But yeah, Morpheus goes more into that. But humans had created the AI, the artificial intelligence, in the 21st century, which is what we're in now today. And AI kind of took over. It kind of evolved and got smart, and the humans blocked the sun because AI was living off of solar. So humans thought if they blocked the sun, they could kill the robots.
Yep.
And then we come to find out that, which Neo has a really hard time with, is that the AI feeds off of humans.
Yep.
And so I wrote this down. So 120-year-old battery is equivalent to 25,000 BTUs. And then, so we'll just say a furnace can be 100,000 BTUs. So it would take 4 humans to run a furnace.
That's crazy.
Yeah, according to the movie, according to this universe.
Well, in this movie, it says it's supposed to take place around the year 2199.
So they think. So humans are no longer born, but grown in fields.
Well, in this whole movie, the whole first movie takes place, like we talked about, within 19 months. So it goes from February 19th of 98 to September 18th of 99. So about 9 months, or 19 months, 19 months.
Yeah. I just thought of something. So like in the Matrix, obviously people get together and have babies. How does that happen?
See, I wondered that too, because like we'll talk about with the second or the third movie. Well, second and third movie with him and Trinity. Well, especially the second movie. I'm like, because I kind of thought about that too, but I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, because if
they're doing the deed, and there's
Well, if you never woke up, so like if you're not Neo or Trinity and you're never woken up and you're stuck in the Matrix and you have a baby in the Matrix, clearly if you're in that little pod thing, you're not really creating a human. You're only creating it in the Matrix. So does the Matrix have these babies laying around, and when you make a baby in the Matrix, they plug that baby into the real baby? I don't know. I just thought of that. I was like, how does that work?
I don't know.
A first program. And maybe it was Agent Smith that talked about it, but there was a first program and it was heaven or a dream. We'll put it in terms of God. People always go well, if God loves humanity, why do we have cancer? Why do we have tragedy? That sort of thing. And so people question that are outside of the Matrix, why doesn't the Matrix just create heaven, basically, everything's bliss and beautiful? And it said when they did do that, the first time they did that program, that humans tried to wake up. They were actually rejecting the program. And so the Matrix had to make it more realistic to how life should be, because then the human body and the mind accepted that. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
And it probably, after they explained that, I was sitting there going, you know what? That's probably what would happen. If this really did happen, I'm sure that the human mind could not accept pure bliss.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Carrie-Anne Moss, who played Trinity, she sprained her ankle at the beginning of shooting, and she didn't tell anyone because she didn't want to be recast, so she wouldn't tell anybody. And then, of course, Hugo Weaving, he was injured a couple times. And then Keanu Reeves suffered prior to the pre-production. So I don't know what what that means exactly, pre-production. He suffered a level 2 fusion of his cervical spine, which had begun to cause paralysis to his legs. So he had to have neck surgery. And he was still recovering by the time of pre-production. But he insisted on training. So Wu Ping Yen let him practice punches and lighter moves, and he trained hard, even requesting training on days off. So it's still, but the surgery still made him unable to kick for 2 out of the 4 months of training. Hugo Weaving, we know him as Lord Elrond. No. Yeah, right? Is that Elrond?
Is he an elf? He's an elf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays Arwen's dad.
Pretty cool. Yeah, there's some. I mean, well, Jada Pinkett Smith comes along in the last two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did not know that she was in that. I thought, well, and I guess they wanted Will Smith to be Neo, and he wouldn't take it.
What was your favorite part
Of this one, my favorite part of this one was at the end, when he's fighting Mr. Smith, and he does like the whole kick, and he gets down, he gets in his pose. I don't even know how to do it, and he does like that. I don't know why, but I like that part.
Yeah, I love the helicopter scene. That whole
scene too.
Yeah, I love that. And
Morpheus.
Yeah, when he's saving Morpheus, and I don't know what it is, like even how he looks in that moment is just.
Well, and I feel like we watched a video that explains like this first movie, and kind of goes through and how he like the philosopher's journey. Mm-hmm. Essentially is what Neo goes through, and we do see him go through it, like we talked about earlier before we started filming. So it's called The Matrix Ending Explained: A Guide to Freeing Your Mind, if you guys want to check it out. But he goes through 7 phases. And he goes through dreaming, because that's how we meet him. He's always dreaming or always asleep. And then destruction, reconstruction, self-knowledge, then doubt, then belief, and then love. And the love comes in with Trinity at the end.
Well, she saves him.
She does save him, because she tells him that she loves him, and she's not ready to let him go yet. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah, and he dies in the Matrix. Mm-hmm. And he is reborn.
Yep. Well, and it talks about him becoming the Umber Mitch. Mm-hmm. Which it talks about in that, which means the one. And how the Oracle has that sign above, know thyself.
Yeah, so did you watch it? Leave us a comment below. What do you think? Do you think we're living in a simulation? I'm interested to see what people have to say about that. There are people that believe that. So let us know in the comments what you think. I'm real, by the way. I was born homegrown. I think Shelly was too. I don't think I'm sitting here talking to a simulation or a program. Maybe. I don't know. We might not even know.
I'd be the glitching one.
Yeah. Always glitching. Deja vu. I have a lot of that.
Yes. We didn't talk about that. Deja vu.
Yeah. Seeing the cat a couple times. I don't experience it. I experienced a lot more when I was younger. I don't experience it as much now.
Me either.
Yeah. So yeah, just leave us a comment about all that. We thank you for watching and checking in on us. And until next time, this is my BFFF Shelly. I'm Tiffany. Join us next time, folks. Join us next time, friends, for another great episode.